right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live, where we bring you the people, the products, and the processes helping us all to build it better. And today we are talking about a prefab panelized wall system designed for disassembly. With the recent acquisition of an ADU company, where is the team in their quest to find the holy grail of construction? We're talking about productization and digitalization, creating value. You're going to love it. We're going to have John Fay, CEO, on the show. And not only are we talking about panelized wall systems, we're also, that's right, we're also going to be talking about ADUs. So before we get into it, once and for all, we need to thank all of our sponsors. So let's take a moment and do so. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory, optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Howick Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, howickltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack, Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design, and documentation all the way out to CNC output, model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at StruxSoftSolutions.com. All right, again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. We cannot bring you any of these informative conversations without the help of them. All right, without further ado, let's bring on the founder, the CEO, John Fay, Lada Cube. Hey, John, how are you today?
Hey, Dave. Yeah, thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for being here. This is exciting. I love it when we have new innovation happening and people that are thinking differently. And more important, John, somebody that wasn't even in our industry, didn't even have any clue about how to do any of this. And you guys went out and created something great. But before we get into that, John, if you would please tell us a little bit about who you are. In fact, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will come to Grand Junction and find your mother and bring her on the show. But you only have 2 minutes to do it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so, my background is grew up in Grand Junction, Colorado, lived here off and on throughout my life. My background is I really worked a lot in mental health. I have a master's in counseling psychology, worked a lot with youth growing up as my early professional career. I have a wonderful wife, Britta, and I've got 3 kiddos, Micah, Maddock, and Merrick. And we got a senior getting ready to graduate in about a month. So it's kind of been a new stage for us and then kind of focusing on him. And I lived in California, 2 different stints. Just kind of have a unique journey that led me to start Lada Cube. And really in 2013 was the official start date.
John, the one thing that I love about this conversation is that you have a background in psychology. Lord, does this industry need some help with getting out of our own way and getting to the next level? So I think that's awesome. And I love the name of the kids, and I love Grand Junction. So we're coming back to visit you.
Yes.
We always have this conversation. We say, where does these things start at? Like who from somebody that is counseling in the psychology industry or working with children or whatever the case is, wake up and go, this is dumb. I need to fix it. I don't understand why somebody in our industry has not fixed it already. What was the aha moment for you?
Yeah. So, really a non-traditional journey for me. I'm a man of faith, and in that journey, at the time I was a school counselor in 2010, and my wife, who's an amazing musician, graduated from Manhattan School of Music. She had this, really incredible degree, and we were always trying to figure out, how do you maximize, that degree. And so she had started a music school called Sarah School's Music Programs, and that program really started to grow significantly. And in that process, we, collaborated and thought, man, maybe we should go look at some commercial real estate to get some more exposure, because she was doing a lot of after-school programming. And so in that process, I went out and looked at 5 properties with a real estate broker in 2010, and just really walked away from that experience, just incredibly frustrated. And I was dialoguing with myself, and with God on the way home, and just thinking, like, why does this bother me so much? And really, I was looking at these models that are really entrenched in, in our building culture, building out spaces through tenant improvements. And then, really felt like I would have no leverage after putting all of those assets into that space through, expenditures. Feeling like I had no leverage to renegotiate, new contracts. And then also the next person would come in and just demo everything and throw it away. And I'm really just out of crying out to God, just out of frustration, saying, like, God, why is this system, so goofy? And really, I heard a voice. I heard God's voice in the car on the way home. And I heard him say, I want you to build a wall that looks like a traditional wall, but that can come apart. And I was the last person that should have been in that conversation. And so, so literally that was kind of the precipice of everything. It took me 2 years to even, gain enough confidence to believe I could step into the opportunity, but that was kind of where Lada started in its early stages.
Yeah, well, I think you're the perfect person for it. Maybe God was on to something, being a man of faith myself. So I think you're right where you're supposed to be, as they like to say out there in the world of everything, right? Just live in the moment, and you're doing that. So, all right, if you're joining us, everybody, not only do we have John, the CEO and founder of Lada on, we're going to run through a presentation. That's right. We got a PowerPoint slide. We have photos. We have videos. We're going to show you this entire system, all the bolts, all the soup, all the nuts, all the gravy, everything that goes into it, starting now. John, you ready to walk through this?
Let's do it. I'm excited. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we really think of construction more from a productization standpoint, right? So, a lot of these systems and ideas really were percolated in 2010, but it's been a long development process to really get to what you see today, which is what we call version 4. So what we do is we basically manufacture 8 sizes of wall cassettes. And so you're seeing 4 of those examples. You're seeing a 48-inch, 36, 24, and 12. And those cassettes are really, well thought out from the engineering perspective, but also in terms of how you look at floor plans. And so we can take virtually any floor plan with design intent that's linear, and we can match to either exact original intent of that design or within a couple inches. But the beauty in it is you're removing a lot of very customized little measurements that construction is really fraught with. And you're really systematizing everything with a more sustainable platform that allows you to pull out efficiencies in the building process. So by pulling out those standard sizes.
Yeah.
So with that, we can build out structures fast and efficient. So typically, on average, on multiple case studies and on highly repeatable projects, about 75% faster than stick-built schedule. And the beauty in it too is we can bring in layman labor, like unskilled labor or skilled labor, and really teach them within 30 minutes or less at how to use the system and have them, start building with the system really quickly. So this is, you're seeing is a couple of these projects we do a lot of projects for Walmart, building out a lot of their new vision centers, optometry offices, telehealth, which you're seeing right here. This is a small structure that's about a 2-hour installation with 2 installers. But when you interface with the product, you would not know it's modular unless I told you, because they're really robust structures, really, really unique to interact with. And then all of the cassettes from one project to the next can interface with each other. So you have a high sustainability model of reusability as well.
So it is the original Lego set of construction, is what you're saying. It's
Pretty
interchangeable.
Much. Yeah, and we kind of go back to what I told you, Dave, too, is like we liken ourselves as the 2x4 of the future. Like if we're looking future forward, how would we build? How would we create more efficiencies in the building process? How would we productize it so that you also have long-term value beyond the initial use?
So, John, how about, let me ask this real quick. You had a quote, and I wanted to read this quote, and I think this is a good place. You said, I honestly had no idea what I was doing and probably no business even attempting this project. I was a school counselor at the time and had never really built anything in my life, which leads me to the question, when you look at this, the 2x4 of the future, what problem are you really trying to solve here?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's, as you guys know, many people, there are massive labor issues that are constantly, being compounded over time of these skilled laborers that are in the market that are they're kind of diminishing out of, or graduating or life cycling out of the industry. Not as many people, obviously, young people are moving into the industry. I know there's lots of great programs and companies that are working on changing that. But really, what we're looking at is how do you create efficiencies in construction? How do you look at it from more of the productization standpoint? And then also, like, how do you take those assets? And what we're seeing on initial project versus second case use, about an 83% savings in cost of use to build out structure. And then I would say the last category is really, our goal is to remove all of this construction and debris waste from landfills, and really looking at product the way we do, with our cars, with our phones, with computers, other things in our lives, that we call it the 3 R's. So reconfiguration, reuse, and resell. So we see there being a very large, third-party market eventually of Lada Cube cassettes and maybe other products as well that fall in the same sector, that people can go on and exchange and buy different products, and they're constantly circulating within the ecosystem.
And I love that. And the whole world is getting to sustainability, and it just makes sense, right? How do we leave the planet a better place for the next generation? And that's kind of the focus for everybody.
Yep. Yeah. And here you're seeing, some of our optometry spaces. So all of this structure that you see in all of these photos can be fully deconstructed, can be actually re-inventoried back into inventory, and then redeployed into future projects. And so this is a unique application you see here, because behind this wall, which we'll show some interior photos at some point, but you're seeing a couple of things. Behind this wall, what's happening is we have a wet wall cassette that is basically a unique cassette that allows you to do all your plumbing within that structure of the same wall that can cam lock together with all the other cassettes. You're seeing our plug and play electrical, you're seeing data lines, you're seeing digital blocking that's placed within those walls that can hold about 350 pounds rated per screw hole. So the walls are very structural in nature. They're actually rated at 3 times stronger than a stick-built structure. So, and a lot of that has to do with the technology and the engineering within the cassettes and how they're built and structured.
Yep. And I know we're going to get into showing a lot of the construction portion of this, so I'll save my questions on the materials for later as well. But that's a lot of weight to hold on the walls. And when you say cassettes, when we look at this picture, is each one of these seams considered a cassette?
Well, not exactly, but because the skins can actually overlap multiple cassettes. So my guess behind that wall, you could have 2 48s and a 24-inch, but it could be another configuration once you open that up or look at the drawings. Yeah. Right. I love this photo because it just shows the variety of the finishes. So there we have a lot of, skin hanging systems, that it's either a dovetail hanger, French cleat, or a magnetic hanger. But underneath you have all the same wall cassette technology. So all of these cassettes, like I said, can be disassembled, can be added to, can go into other projects, can go back in inventory. And then this one you're seeing, maple skins with, I think, a Koya finish skins and a clip-in baseboard. And then over time you can change it up. And then the last thing I'll say too is on this one is you can actually drywall the cassettes as well. So with a removable drywall system that we have. So that allows you to go with some of those more traditional materials, but then also still have the reusability of the technology and the cassettes underneath.
So I got to ask this, right? You're saying removable. So what you're telling me is right now that's not drywall in the interior of these. It's a different product, and I'll let you tell us what it is. But are you also saying that I can actually change the skin of the interior and exterior of my building anytime I want, or access everything anytime I want without having to retape and spackle?
Exactly. So
Ah,
on these cassettes in this application, you could literally walk up to this wall, unclip an entire skin piece, and then access the core of the wall, change up, data, electrical, add blocking. So we call those accessories. And so that's that. We call those, the cassettes have what we call reverse compatibility, meaning
yeah,
that you can add technology to them, but then over time you can actually change the location or use of that technology, or actually pull it completely out and reconstitute it into another application.
that's awesome.
Yeah, this is a great project. This is a very, 3,000 square foot blocks we do for a company called Warehouse Innovations. It's basically a maker space for early stage manufacturers up in Loveland, Colorado at the old HP factory. And so this is a great application in terms of a couple of things you'll see is an integration of storefront glass door and windows. You'll see a polycarbonate skin with actually a polycarbonate cassette. So it has a different material for what we call a mid panel, which is the middle panel of the wall cassette.
Yeah.
It has these blocks can actually interchange. So this client can actually change the size of the space depending on the rent requirement or space requirement of their tenant. And then you're seeing full roll garage doors, which really showcases the strength of the cassettes and the ability to really, put some really significant weight into the structure. These are more standalone applications. This is called focal wall. It's a bump out wall that goes in a lot of Walmarts to hold, all the glasses on display. So this is really an application that allows Walmart to go in and consistently have a kit of parts that gets delivered and then gets installed to create these unique features for some of their new layouts for their vision centers.
Very cool. I just love that you're in all these Walmarts now.
Yeah, it's been a really a huge blessing. They've been a great partner, and it gives us a lot of really great case studies because there's so much repeatability in these projects.
For sure.
Yeah, this is a micro hotel room we did in New York City at a building called Showfields. So it was a showcase piece for a company looking to raise capital. So we brought this unit installed in 6 hours with a crew of 4. And then, and just to clarify what that was, it was all the wall cassettes. It was the floor, the ceiling. This one had a hard ceiling. All the plug and play electrical, all the locations for anchoring for fixtures, and then a general contractor came in and did kind of the tile work, the mill work, right, the glass, the fixtures, hanging. Yeah.
So let me ask you.
Yep.
Yeah, let me ask. So, would you see yourselves, and maybe it's already part of the projects, and we're going to see some of this, but the ability to go into old offices that are empty and turning them into living space like this?
Yeah. So that one of the previous projects was actually in a 1920s building. So yeah, what we do, so this is unique in construction because you usually don't find this on projects, is our cassettes are digital. So they fall within 1/1500ths of an inch tolerance. So what happens is you get this incredibly linear, straight building platform. And it all starts with the seal plates, which are the bottom, basically plates that get put in first, and they create that level surface. And what that does is it allows for anybody, I could have my 10-year-old come in and install the cassettes because they're not trying to do all that fine detail work of leveling and trying to figure out, how the studs go in or how we're going to build structure. And so a couple of things, the cabinet guys love us, the floor guys love us.
I bet.
Typically those guys are coming in and they're dealing with inconsistent conditions, right? With stick built.
Yeah.
They come into our situation, like Herman Miller does a lot of the cabinets on a lot of the projects that we do. Their crew came in and said, this is the truest, straightest wall we've ever put our cabinets on. So it's kind of a fun feedback.
I would say definitely. I mean, how do you make the trades lives easier? That's part of your success will be getting people to talk about you because they love working with your system and they can reduce their time and cost because it doesn't cost them all the headaches to keep going.
Yeah. And it's also we really try to, the platform's really created to also not exclude those trades. So you can still use traditional labor, skilled labor. You can still use, like this is an example of some of those accessories. which are those are the products that can interface with the cassettes.
Right.
But you can still use a traditional plumber. You can still use a traditional electrician, or you can use, our UL certified plug and play electrical system, which is shown here, showing some of the digital blocking pieces, which can locate with anywhere within a cassette, and they're sized to each of the 8 cassettes. We talked about the wet wall cassette, which is basically a blank hollow cassette that allows you to have a plumber come in and plumb that entire cassette. We've started to get some of the manufacturers of doors and windows to put our cam pins in the frames. So the beauty in that is we've been able to see, fairly unskilled labor install 6 doors in 1 hour, which is kind of unheard of. And that's no shimming, no screws. You're literally pulling the frame in, the steel frame, and you're cam locking it, and it goes right into true. We also do a pocket door cassette system, which can accept different sizes of doors. And then we also are starting to do a lot of kit aparting. And that's kind of, maybe we'll talk about it more later, I don't know, but it's with our partnership with Autodesk and Cope, and another company called System Build, to really create this kit of parts, family kit of parts that allows you to design in Revit and a few other platforms to basically build out and play around with Lada Cube.
And we will get into that. I think near the end of the show, I want to talk a little bit more about Copy and what you're doing with Autodesk, because I think it's super important, and it's pretty big on what they're pulling together and doing.
We're thrilled. It's going to be some exciting stuff. Yeah. But this just shows, some of the varied skins that we've done on projects. So it's kind of the sky's the limit. If you can think of what a skin that you'd want, it can integrate typically into our system. There's some dimensional requirements, but yeah. So this is a great case study. This shows one of the Walmarts. So one of the projects typically is around $260K. This particular project was deconstructed because it was moved. And so the deconstruction, so I think the installation on this was 8 or 9 days with a crew of 8. And then it deconstructed with a crew of 4 in 13 hours. And it cost a little under $5,000 to deconstruct it. Wow. And then the second time use of that same project, so redeploying it based on ownership of those assets or products, the second time deployment was $45,000, a little over $45,000. So what you're looking at is about an 83% savings on second time use of the cassettes over time.
Yeah. And I mean, for remodeling Walmarts and in commercial space, they're always having to update and move things around. This just allows them to put it in a different part of the store or add to it, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. You take those assets that normally you would be throwing away. It's like those assets have value until you demolish them, right? You do demolition, then the value goes below zero because you have the labor. Whereas, I think future forward products like Lada Cube, the deconstruction, the reuse is just such a great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. That's the end of that slide deck, I believe. So what I want to do is get in and actually talk a little bit about the structure. So would you be okay if I started sharing some of that?
Yeah. Yep. So I think some of the photos you're going to be sharing, now you'll start to see, and we can start to break out those cassettes and how they formulate spaces. And you'll start to see some of those accessories that are built into those cassettes that can also be removed or relocated over time.
Perfect. Here we go.
Yeah. So this is a great example. So you're seeing the kind of the hollow cassette is actually the wet wall cassette. So all those cross members can be pulled off, and then you can plumb the whole thing. Then you can put the cross channel, they call them cross channels, back on. And then you insulate it. And so you can see the stub up at the bottom for the sewer.
Yep.
And then water lines go in there. And so another thing you're seeing is some digital blocking. So you can kind of see the bigger block at the bottom. Those are the digital blocks, kind of the third rung up. So those are blocks probably intended to hold a countertop, I'm guessing. Probably on that one. You're seeing, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask. So this is all cold form steel construction, right? It's not solid steel. It's all cold form.
Yeah. So usually 16 to 18 gauge galvanized galvanneal, so it won't rust. These components, we call them parts, are basically laser cut currently and then digitally roll form bent. into their shape. Then they come to our assemblies factory. And in that factory, we basically assemble the cassettes, or sometimes they'll come pre-assembled as blanks. And then basically the cassettes will get populated with whatever they need. So that could be insulation for sound. It can be the electrical, digital, or data, blocking. And then they all get labeled. So there's a couple labels. There's a product label that tells you exactly what that product is. And it also has a QR code that goes to our website. And that QR code goes to a specs page, and it also goes to a page that kind of talks about how you build with the structure, so instructions. And then there's a red label, which you see on all these cassettes. And the red label, it designates the cassette number, so sequence. So when it arrives on site, they're all sequenced. So you go to the stack and you grab the next one, you install it. So it's all efficient. It also tells you the room it goes in, the direction, and the project name. And so, yeah, so here you're seeing one of those focal walls actually going into a Walmart. So it consists of, I think it looks like 4 48-inch cassettes and looks like a 12-inch cassette. And then we didn't talk about this, but we have a corner pillar that allows you to do intersections. And the hardware on that is interchangeable. So you can change up those intersections over time, so you can reuse that pillar in different scenarios. Yeah, so just kind of, it's a beautiful structure. It's kind of a shame, I think our engineers would say, to cover it up with skins, because it really is beautiful. The cassettes do come single side insulated, which gives you about a 35 STC, so sound transfer class rating. Certain applications, like when there's higher noise requirements, sound deadening, we will double side insulate. And you can use lots of different materials. So we kind of talked previously about how the product as a platform allows for so much different interfacing. You can use different soundproofing materials. So this happens to be rock wool safe and sound rigid batt. You could use hemp. You could use wool. We've used denim before. So the system really allows for interfaces of all sorts of products. Yeah, this is great. You can see actually a special bracketry that allows you to build against existing stick-built walls. So you kind of see those two brackets on the left.
And that allows you to connect to the stick walls. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And that pulls it all together. And those brackets look like they're able to be plumbed up independently. So when you bring your wall in, it just slides left, right, up and down.
They have variability. So even if your stick-built wall is not level, you can still start with a level Lada Q cassette.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'll just keep working through these. You tell me when you want to stop and talk about something.
Yeah. This one on the far left shows actually the pocket door system, which is tough to see, but
over here.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yep. We can do different size rough openings. So we've done up to, I think, 12 feet with this system. But you could go larger. You can go smaller. Most ROs, are probably 3.7. I'm guessing on most of these projects. You can see some of the electrical. So we have actual electrical brackets, very similar to what you see in the electrical market is in general, but unique to our product. Yeah.
Got it.
So
you're actually using commercial grade wiring in this one, right? And then you actually have quick connect points throughout this. And I see one down here. Is the electrical coming in the wall, like this outlet would already be there, and then they just got to come in and plug in?
Exactly. So kind of the primary format, anywhere where you see kind of a rectangle horizontally or vertically is where electrical or plumbing or data can run. Not as much plumbing, typically that's in the wet wall, but yeah. So what you'll see is we actually have what's called a T-drop, which is the longer cord that comes down into the cassette, and it actually comes pre-assembled in that cassette. And then you have what's called a pigtail, which is usually like a J-box, light switch outlet that has its pigtail, and those usually come pre-connected. And then what you're doing after you assemble all the cassettes is you're taking what are called our easy connects. You're basically connecting those T-drops from cassette to cassette to create those circuits. So, this is a great photo because you're seeing a finished wet wall. You're seeing digital blocking. You're seeing the pocket door cassette on the right there.
Here. Got it.
You're seeing electrical. You're seeing a light switch, it looks like. You're seeing a data box. So this photo really displays a lot of the unique accessories within the system.
Let me walk through this with you real quick. So this plumbing wall, you're saying from the top to bottom, the PVC piping, the copper, that's already installed at the manufacturing facility and stubbed out as we're seeing it?
It can be, but typically in our projects, we really, because we call ourselves a 2x4 of the future. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
We really try to stay true to kind of our core technology, which are the cassettes and the accessories.
Yeah.
If it were like a higher volume project, we could auto fill those. But really, we're trying to get the product in the hands of, the volumetric manufacturers, the guys, the GCs, subs that are traditionally coming in and stick building everything. We're saying, hey, let's replace what you're doing with this efficient system that you can build out faster, more efficiently, and then has, a long-term sustainability model for your customer.
Right.
Yeah, so now you're starting to see some of the skins getting put on. So these are actually pre-painted MDF, or they can be painted on site. These skins are actually magnetically attached. They're pretty fun. The way they clip on, the strength of the system. So you can literally, you can take a skin, clip it on. You can't move it once it's fully engaged. Once all of the usually 8 to 12 magnets are fully engaged. The only way you can remove the wall is you have to slowly come underneath the base and pop one magnet off at a time, and then they lose enough magnetization
right.
to be able to pull the whole cassette off. Sorry,
you don't have to worry about breaking the wall panel as you're pulling up on it?
No, the panels are so strong. You're talking about the skin or the cassette? Sorry.
The skin.
The skins, they're usually 1/2 inch MDF or other products. At 1/2 inch, obviously you have to be a little careful, but
right.
As long as you're not doing anything drastic, they're usually really fine.
So how do you get these lined up without getting stuck with a don't? Oh no! Like, so do you top hang it first and put it in the hanger and then lower it?
Yeah. So it has a top French cleat
that
aligns it.
Okay.
And that allows you to basically locate it, and then you pop it on. So it's a fun process, like I said, because it just has this like really distinct sound when it clips on. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'm loving this. Let's we're gonna get into some exterior cladding here.
Yes.
So let's do that next. There you go.
Yeah. So still kind of looking at MDF skin system with a polycarb.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about previously, kind of that unique semi-translucent transparent cassette, the full roll garage door, which really shows that structural capability of the cassettes. And the beauty in it is the whole thing is demountable. So
yep. Is this still interior? I said exterior. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, this is still all interior.
Okay, great.
Yep. So you're seeing a vestibule, third-party door system there. So storefront glass door. So the way we do those systems is we put basically furring strips in our vertical rails, and that allows those installers to come in and basically put that door in directly into our wall cassette system. Yeah.
Oh, it's finished.
Yep. There's a finished vision center. So it's about a 3-day build, which is incredible.
You got one of these in here in Pittsburgh?
I'll have to look. We may have some of the focal walls because we just did a 20 store delivery of just the focal walls. So
yeah.
I'll have to check that.
Excellent.
Yep.
More of the same project there then, right?
Yeah, different I mean, they're all very similar.
Sure.
You see a lot of repeatability, which is great. And there are some variations from store to store. So those are called tenant spaces. Typically used to be like a McDonald's or a Build-A-Bear or a bank or a nail salon. So getting reoccupied to build out a vision center where there wasn't a vision center in one of those super centers.
Perfect. This is just super cool, man.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Now we got some finish. Is this exterior?
No, that's still interior. It's okay.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll kind of go into our exterior system though. So we have a housing or building kit of parts. Really, it's a unique system. It's a newer system for us. All the interior walls that we've been viewing actually work inside of that system. But what it is it's basically a kit that allows you to build in block format. So you can build 9x9, 9x11, or 11x11 blocks. And those blocks can then be infinitely combined. So you can build anything as small as a 72 square foot unit, probably a little office in your backyard,
Right.
or storage unit, all the way up to, a 5,000 square foot house or more. And you can kind of play around with the format. You can do a giant block, you could do a U, you can do an S. There's so many options to that structure. And it really, you can also build it independent with its own flooring system and roof system, which has unique corner piers that allow you to anchor into concrete piers or helical pillars. Or on the other end, you can actually take that corner pier and build on a stem wall. And here we're showing some of the drywall on the system, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's removable to actually then get to the cassettes and reconstitute them. But
So
yeah.
the drywall is removable as well?
Yes, sir. Yep. So we have some unique drywall tape that then allows you to basically rip the system off, unscrew the drywall, and then basically all the cassettes underneath are then fully reusable.
Get out of here. So you're telling me there's drywall tape on the corner here that I can't see?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. You're going to have to tell me what that is.
Yes. So here's the building block, the housing kit of parts. So it's a cool system. Here you're seeing, kind of like I talked about, the corner piers in the corner. They do have anchors. Those can be reconfigured to also be built on a stem wall. Or you can remove the floor completely and you can build slab on grade concrete. So there's an adapter for that. But then you're seeing our corner columns and then our cross beams. So cross beams intersect with the columns, and then you have floor and ceiling cassettes and wall cassettes that basically then populate the space. So you can actually build this block to a weathered in format. We've done it as fast as about 36 minutes. And then the foot.
Are you guys creating all your own cold form steel frames, or are you outsourcing this but looking to bring it in-house when you grow more?
Yeah, so a couple of things. We have 3 primary partners currently. So we do manufacturing in Denver, Colorado, Cape Town, South Africa, and Guadalajara, Mexico. And so we basically send them the files. They digitally, basically produce those files, ship us the components, the parts. And then from there, we have inventory, we're taking blanks, we're configuring them to projects, and then shipping them out the door. So yeah. Did that answer your question?
It did.
Yep. So now you're starting to see the wall cassettes. There's only actually 2 sizes for the exterior. There's a 48 and a 24 inch. You're seeing it with the Sika product, polystyrene. And so with this configuration right here, actually, we're able to get about an R29 with the rock wool, the Sika, and then there's OSB in there as well. But you can change this up. So within the platform, the cassette, you could use a zip system we talked about earlier. You can use virtually any materials you want. Here's a great cross section of all the materials. So you're seeing a vapor shield, the Sika Pro, just standard OSB, right? And then you're seeing a rock wool. But you can change those materials up and use kind of whatever system you want. So right now we can get up to about R29, but you could get higher if you spray foamed it. You could probably get R40 in the walls, and then the floor and the ceiling can get to about R40.
What's the thickness of the walls as they sit there?
6 inches. Yep. So there's 6-inch cassettes, and then you can populate those with lots of different, like I said, materials.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note, I mean, you have a full system here. You're not just doing walls, you're doing floor, walls, and ceiling. Yep. So, I mean, I think that's super important when you're looking to use product like this, because it has to be level square for it to work seamlessly.
And it's so true. I mean, it allows, I mean, a lot of our staff they're not professional builders. I love them. Right. They can build this. So it's really intuitive. It's really straightforward. We
Right.
really feel like it's the future of construction.
Yeah, we get a lot of people that say, "Well, I've tried wall panels and it sucks." And I'm like, "Well, who framed the floor?" And they're like, "Oh, well, the on-site framer framed it." And
Yeah.
that's kind of the value. Like if you're going to go to a system, you have to go to a system, even if it's just the frame of the building, right? You got to
Yep.
do the whole frame if you want it to work, and then beat up on the mason to get it all level and flat and in the real world. So
Yeah.
outside of that, this is great. Oh, there's your wife.
There's my wife. Yeah, she's wonderful. She was designing one of these units. We had the governor of Colorado out a few weeks or probably 2 months ago, and
Yeah.
so you can kind of see one of these blocks finished. So grad system with Issaquah lumber from so just kind of shouting out some of these companies, and then Devin Tilley's company, Mountain View,
Did the windows?
doors. Yep, Anderson. They're Anderson Series 300, I believe.
Yep.
Beautiful. But within those cassettes, you can source any type of door or window system. You can actually create larger layouts of window, so you can do an entire wall. So yeah, this shows the block, which interior is 8x8, but it's a 9x9 block, getting disassembled, I believe. So 36 minutes to disassemble it from weathered in platform all the way back to, flat packed.
Right.
So, yep.
Oh, perfect. Let's just run through it here and let people see how quick it is. But I mean, it's quick and it's not heavy stuff.
No, and it's not heavy. But when it's all combined in the way it's engineered, it becomes very strong as a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this one,
a wall change.
Yep. You just see popping out a window, putting it on the backside. And I think we threw one of those cross-section cassettes in. Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Hey, listen, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors real quick and supporting members if I can. So if you are watching this, you might want to check out our good friends at the Unico system. That's right. If you are looking for a high velocity HVAC system, the system that's ideal solution for new and retrofit construction. Are you listening, Lada Cube? Exceptionally quiet, highly efficient, and great for tight spaces. Then you want to check out the Unico system in Cobalt Creed. They're awesome. And I can't say enough about asking. It's not even asking about them asking to be part of our show. They have their own federal code. It takes an act of Congress to change their system. If you don't know about them, you should. So a big shout out to Sean and Tagliata and the crew at Unico Systems. All right, let's get back into it. We only have a few more minutes left here. So here we are. We went through these systems. Let's get into ADUs, right? Your wife was standing in an ADU. So talk about that for a quick moment. And then what I want to do is get into, the kit of parts that you have.
Yeah. So, really our goal as a company is, we're really phasing out of us doing installations, doing the final product, because really we want to, like I said before, we want to get these systems, these kit of parts in the hands of builders, contractors, engineers, architects, and really give them the freedom to start building out unique structures. And the platform allows that, right? There's so much flexibility and creativity in the system. And so, yeah, here you're seeing, like, I think I talked about this before, but the grad system clip-in vertical.
Yeah, I see it up top here.
So what the system's beautiful. It allows you to basically, all the wood is groove cut. It allows you to basically clip and unclip the boards at any time. So when you think about, flexibility, reusability, the system also allows you to basically, you could, stucco the system, you could brick it, you could hardy board it, you can actually screw right into the system. It doesn't have to be independent, but it offers both of those platforms. And so,
yeah. Well, hey, listen, I have a small studio here. It'd be great to be able to change it out every once in a while and put new windows and doors in. I'll expect mine in the mail sometime in the next 2 weeks, John, if you don't mind. That's probably the perfect size right there.
We would love that. Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
all right. Yeah. You were talking about how easy it is to level these things and anybody can put them together. I'm assuming that's what this is showing.
Yes, sir. Yep. So you're looking at the corner pier, and so that's a unique platform component that allows you to elevate, rotate to level. It also has anchor points in it. And then you're seeing the beams basically connecting there and the corner column.
And the floor system.
And then this floor cassettes, yep, which can be populated with different insulation. Here you're seeing those two sizes of cassettes, the 48 and the 24. You're seeing the ability to take an Anderson window, or it could be a Milgard or any company, Pella, and you can actually take a 48-inch cassette and you can actually put the window into that cassette. Integration of HVAC, so heating, cooling, can be fully combined with a cassette. So a lot of efficiencies and just connectivity for these products. But yeah, so this is kind of where we're headed. So we're working with a company called Bath Systems out of Houston.
Yeah. And
we're going to have interchangeable bath and kitchen pods that can basically be put into the unit. So if you had that 9x9 structure, and then down the road you said, we want to put a shower in here, I mean, you could literally pop the cassette off and slide in a pod, and then really have it functioning within that space. So I like this diagram because it really showcases the combination of the building blocks.
Uh-huh.
So you have, for example, and you can see the simplicity of the parts because they're color coded. But you're seeing a 9x9 with a 9x9, but 9x11, 11x11. So we can currently do up to about 22 and a half feet open span within the system. Just showcasing, some of those skins. So there's you can either finish those skins directly how you would traditionally with siding or whatever, or we actually have a hanger system for the skins as well.
A hanger system for the skins as well?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Perfect.
So they can be more removable and can be reconfigurable over time.
Awesome. So we're running out of time here. We only have a few moments. So I do want to show one of these. I have a Matterport. I can show the Vision Center or one of the other, if that works for you. Why don't we show that? And then let's talk a little bit about, some of your work with Autodesk, and then we'll wrap it up. And if there's anything that I missed, that'll be your opportunity to remind everybody out there that I missed something, and we'll talk about it. Sound good?
We can walk through one of the projects. So here is one of the Vision projects, Vision Centers. I think it's Vision and Optometry. So every wall you see in this structure is all Lada cube. And these are actually the clip-on skins. And so, this section would be about a 3-day build. So you see focal wall bump out there. And then, I think this one used to be a McDonald's, actually, ironically. Oh, here you're seeing the Matterport for the warehouse venture accelerator. So with those blocks, and they've actually since added a third pod, and they're getting ready to add their fourth pod. And so these pods are already filling up with customers, with early stage manufacturers. It's quite a really excellent ecosystem that they've created. A lot of shared technology, a lot of shared equipment, machinery, and then just the flexibility within those spaces to be creative and change up the sizes based on needs.
Yeah, and look at the different scans. You got the garage door. There's all of the things we were just talking about. All right, let's go to Autodesk and Copy here to adopt, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that so we had approached Autodesk, I think over a year ago. We started working in there. At the time, it was called Manufacturing Informed Design ecosystem. It didn't. I think we needed more attention. We're selfishly. So we kind of didn't really get too far in that system. And so I actually reconnected with them at Stanford in February, and we really created this partnership with Autodesk and Copy to be able to really start to take these digital software assets, right, and really create what we feel like is one of the first. Maybe I'm ignorant in that statement, but digital physical systems. So really being able to take what you design, in the digital world and take all those efficiencies out of that, and then really parlay that over into an actual product. And so it's called Informed Design now. And so what we're doing is we're creating a kit of parts or family of parts that you can go into Revit. You can design out entire floor plans using Lada Cube. And then it pulls a number of great data sets out. It pulls out very transparent pricing, so you know exactly what every product costs. It pulls out data sets for invoicing or quotes, so you can play around with the system, kind of have an understanding of what the costing will be. It pulls out a bill of materials, so we can compare it to inventory and know deliverables. And it pulls out shop orders for production and deliverables as well. So really those digital assets, right?
Yeah.
One-to-one, it's really where we feel like the future is. And what it does is it really gives people the freedom to play with the system and figure out what would they build, how would they build it. And they could spend time, playing around with that.
Sure. Now, to jump ahead here, did you guys recently buy an ADU company?
Yeah, so we acquired a company called Crava.
I love Crava, guys.
Yeah. So Wick, Paven, great guys, man. Just love them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had been around for about a year when we acquired them. So we acquired a lot of those assets, and then we've just really been kind of navigating how we're going to use those assets. A lot of the way we want to use it is we want to use it kind of as a testing ground to be able to understand how we will work with future ADU manufacturers or other companies. There are a few other companies we're talking with that do provide ADUs or housing structures. And we're kind of going to them saying, hey, you're stick building these. It's very difficult. It's cumbersome. It's not efficient. And we feel like it doesn't give the customer like the best end use product from a, reusability or reconfiguration standpoint. And so we're saying, hey, why don't we take the way you're building that now, and we call it lodification. We'll lodify it. We'll transfer all that into our system. It's a digitized system, of very consistent and efficient components.
Right.
And what they do in that, we're not trying to market LadaCube. We really want to market, their product. But we're saying, hey, don't use these sticks anymore. Use our product, white label it. It's still your product. And we're kind of behind the scenes just trying to provide
together.
Yep. So.
All right. Perfect. John, is there anything that we did not cover today? And then I'm going to give a couple quick shout outs from the audience.
Yeah. The only thing we didn't do was actually pull apart a panel here.
There you go.
So internal cam blocks. So these are an example of two 12-inch cassettes. Obviously they would be much taller, but you can see how easy it is to disassemble. So each cam block has about 750 pounds of holding power that allows you to basically take a wall, and you can see there's a slight gap there. Well, I guess I just closed it. But allows you to basically build walls like that.
And lock them down. Awesome.
Yeah. So, other than that, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. We'd love to look at any projects that anyone has. So you can reach us at info@ladacube.com. And thank you for hosting us, Dave.
Hey, you're welcome. You only in the States, or are you outside the States?
We're doing projects in South Africa. We're doing projects in Mexico. So we do projects coast to coast. We haven't done Alaska or Hawaii. We'd love to help out in Maui. We'll see if that ever happens, but I know they're hurting down there. And then we're looking at actually growing into the UK right now. So.
All right. So you're global. That's what I'm hearing. Global. And you can ship anywhere, right? And you're manufacturing out of Grand Junction. Yep. And my guess is you're probably going to have to expand soon.
Yeah, we're we've built a strong foundation. We've been around 10 plus years. So
awesome.
We're not going anywhere.
Awesome. Quick couple shout out. Hey, Steve Dubin, what's up? He said, good to see John on the show today. I'm wearing my LadaCube shirt today in support. Steve Dubin, he's out there making a push in the offsite world, right? Check him out on his great channels. Yeah,
Steve goes into every factory, and that guy knows his stuff. Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah, super fun to hang out with as well. Tim Sims, I have a friend working on a mental health app for construction. Please DM me after the show. All right, there you go. Because guess what? You have both sides of this. You have the construction and the mental health covered.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, Tim, thank you. Yeah, we'll reach out. Tim's great. I love what things he posts, and he's definitely a voice in the industry.
He is. George Ryman, how you been, my friend? Good morning from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Well, good afternoon from the East Coast. Greg Ugaldi, fascinating John Fay and DC Live, cutting edge products. Greg Ugaldi is the past chair of the National Association of Home Builders, and he still updates the President of the United States and Secretary of Housing on housing needs. So that's really cool that he always tunes in with us. Love it, love it. Steve and those guys are all going back and forth. Some comments there. If you do have some more comments or questions, please reach out to John Fay. You can find him on LinkedIn or go to their website. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to chat with you. All right, John, I appreciate everything. I appreciate your time today, but time is up, my friend.
Yes. Thank you, Dave and Jennifer and your team. Yeah, you guys are wonderful, and I appreciate the platform you create.
And I appreciate everybody taking the opportunity to come on here and share their stories so we can all build it better. All right, John, stay tight right where you're at. I'm going to come back to you after the show. But as we wrap this up, please say thank you to these sponsors as well, because we cannot continue to do what we do without the support of them. And nobody, and I mean nobody, tells us who can come on this show. It's a journalistic approach. We deliver it to you. You make all the decisions on whether you like it or not. And I think you're going to like today's show. Hey, John, stay right there. I'll come right back to you. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.